Okay. Welcome to the RCC Enrollment and Introduction Webinar. My name is Kelly Berry, and I have been part of the team that has designed and created the RCC for you. I will be conducting today's webinar, and myself, along with the Corias here, are also your support team for the RCC. The goal of today's webinar is to get you acquainted and familiar with the RCC and its functionality. We're really excited to get started with your training so that you can start using the RCC to make you a better business owner. So while the RCC is a robust marketing tool, and it will allow you to market with a level of precision that you've probably not had since it syncs with your MindBody CMS, but it also offers the ability to run comprehensive financial reports, a library to reference your franchise and support systems, done-for-you customizable artwork, the ability to manage your social media, as well as a customizable SEO website. The best part of it all is that it's all in one place. So this will literally be your business management dashboard, and it will improve the way that you are able to manage your business going forward. So before we get started, I did want to give you a brief overview of the agenda for today. The training is going to last about 30 to 45 minutes, and at the end of the webinar, we'll have a question and answer period so that you can make sure that you've gotten all of your questions answered, as well as have the benefit of hearing others that are asking questions during the presentation as well. If you have some questions during the presentation, you can chat those over using the chat feature either to me privately or to the group. And if it's appropriate, I'll stop the presentation and address the question at that time. So what I'm going to do is take you step by step through all of the modules in the RCC, which are the different sections within the RCC where you'll be conducting business, and the available training materials and how to find those materials within the system. And then I'll talk about our support for you to get acquainted and trained on the system, and then we'll end with the question and answer session. I'll be using a combination of this PowerPoint presentation as well as logging into the system to show you the actual features within the system. So the first thing we'll do is show you how to log in, and for those who are enrolling, you've already been emailed the RCC URL as well as your login credentials. So if you have not received those yet, it's likely because I have not received your signed RCC agreement, and your login information and the enrollment procedure will begin once you have signed and submitted that information. So when you actually log into the RCC, you will land on what's called the dashboard. So without further ado, this is the Revolution Command Center. Some of you may have seen this before, or we showed it, I know, at the convention and at FBW, and some of you, this may be your first time seeing the RCC. So the RCC is a centralized, integrated platform built to help simplify all of your marketing efforts, including branding, ad creation, contact management, email marketing, social media, websites, and as well as many other business management tools, which many of you have not been able to leverage before in your business. So what you're looking at right now, as I mentioned, is the dashboard or the home screen for the RCC. And this is where you will access the different modules within the RCC, and you can get to it by clicking on this tab, the RCC tab at the top of the screen. So now I'm going to actually hop into the system and give you a brief overview of the navigation of the RCC. So this is a live site. So the first things that we're going to address are kind of your navigation up here in the top right-hand corner. So unit admin. This is where you can manage users within the system, and each RCC subscription comes with 5 users. So you can use this Manage Users link here to add users into the system. So you'll see that this is my test account that I do our demonstrations from, and our test partner is Phil Fitness. He has one user in his system named Dave Dumbbell. So if you were going to add additional users, you could add users using this link here. You would assign them a login ID and a password, and then you will also assign them roles within the system. And later when we get to marketing assets, I'll show you where you can find training materials. But roles are basically permissions within the system. So you can assign your users different permissions and what you will allow them to access within the RCC based on their role with you. So if they're a coach, you may only give them the coach permission, and what that coach can do is outlined in that roles document. So each of these roles are assigned different permissions. You just would fill out the rest of this information and click Submit, and that would allow them to be users within the system. So next to your users, you'll see these red action arrows, and you will find these in several places within the RCC. But a red or a yellow button indicates an action that you can take. So you can change your password through here, deactivate. So if you've got maybe like a seasonal coach and you want to deactivate them when they're not with you, you can do that. If you've terminated someone, you can also delete them. You can upload a picture with that person, and you can also modify their information within their profile. So that is how you manage your users. And if you deactivate someone and want to reactivate them, you would simply hop over to this deactivated, and you'd have a red action arrow that would allow you to reactivate them. Within Unit Admin, there are some additional configuration links that you can use to configure different things within the system. There are training materials in the marketing assets that will go into those in further details, but I encourage each of you just to click around in here and see what it does. You can configure your social networking signatures here so that when you are sending emails from your campaign center, you can turn on the icons that you've got and copy and paste your individual URL, and those will add those into your signature. So that's where you do that. You can change the layout here, but also in options, you have the ability to change your password question, change your personal information. You can configure which module displays when you log in. So if you want it to be the dashboard, you would simply click there. If you would like it to take you directly to Contact Manager, so this is where you configure that. You can also change the theme or the color of your system, and that's just purely your personal preference. Quick links, you can configure your quick links, and that will show more in the menu. You can configure your notifications here, so when you get a new contact added, you can tell the system if you want an email notification or a notification in this lower left-hand bar. That's fully customizable as well. You can configure your email signature here that will show up on all of your emails that you send from the system. And you can add multiple signatures if you've got more than one. And then you'll see that there's a place where you can download apps. You can use the mobile app, sync your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar, or do the Outlook email uploader. So those are some of the things that you can do up here in your navigation. Finally, in search, the RCC is fully searchable, so you can search based on any term. So if you know that you have seen a blueprint on basketball, but you can't remember where you saw it, you can just type in that search term, and it will show you the blueprints that we have in here with that term. And that goes for for really any term. You can type in blueprint, that will bring up all the blueprints. So that's a really great feature. You can search for anything across all the modules in the entire system. So next we're going to talk about marketing assets, and marketing assets is a module within the RCC that is a centralized library for all of the franchise-provided marketing materials and collateral. So this will be the place that you go to find any of your branded materials, marketing guides, calendars, blueprints, etc. This will eventually replace the need for the Success System, and we're working on transitioning everything over to there, but it is also fully searchable, which makes it really easy to navigate and really user-friendly. So we will go back into the system now so I can show you where you all can find your RCC training materials. So to get the marketing assets, you simply click on the Marketing Assets tab, and this will take you to the home page. Down the left-hand side are all of the folders. So Phil Fitness happens to be a dual-branded franchise partner, so he can see all of the AR and FR documents. So if you're only AR, you'll just see the AR document, and if you're only FR, you will just see the FR document. We have the ability to recommend documents, so if we've got documents that are new or that we want you to take special note of, you can find those in the recommended documents. You can also search within marketing assets using this search box. So you can type in Academy if you're looking for an academy, and that will bring up anything. And this searches the document title as well as the summary, so that's good to know. You've got a lot of options when you're choosing a search term to try to find a certain document. But at the bottom is the RCC Training Materials folder. And you can click on that, and we've got two subdirectories within here, the Franchise Partner Training Materials as well as video tutorials. So in the training materials, this is where we've got training by specific module. So if you're looking for information on the Campaign Center, you would click that subdirectory, or Contact Manager, local websites. So that is where you will find your module-specific training. Underneath here in the documents, these are where you'll find more of your configuration training documents. So special note down here is the RCC Training Manual, and this document is one I'm going to recommend that you all download it basically as soon as we jump off this webinar. This is going to be your user manual and going to help you with a lot of the more detailed tasks within the system. I showed you how to add a user, but this will tell you step-by-step how to add a user. So that is a really good resource for helping you walk through the system and really learn what you can and should be doing in the RCC. I mentioned when you were creating a user that you would want to assign that user roles. So here is the roles glossary that you can download. This RCC modules description is a description of what each of the modules are. We've got some frequently asked questions, so if you've got a question and you want to check this document before you shoot us a support email, that's a great resource for some of the common questions that we've had so far. And then we've got just a specific document on how to create a new user. So that's good. So let me just show you, basically when you click on these, I'll click on the user manual. It downloads this directly to your desktop, so you can save this, and then you would just open it. So it's like basically a cloud that you can access these documents from anywhere. So that's really good to know also. So this is how this document is laid out. It takes you through each module and tells you exactly what to do and how to do it. So that's a really good training resource for you. And then based on some user feedback and some easier to use training materials, we've created this additional folder called RCC Video Tutorials. So these are short video clips on how you can do things within the system. We have started to break up some of the larger training videos that we had into smaller snippets and giving them a more specific description. So when you get into the Campaign Center and you have a question on how to use the keyword function in an email, you can just click on this. It will take you directly to our tutorial video on how to do that. And most of these are like in the 2 to 3 minute range. All of them are less than 5 minutes. So that's really helpful, and we will continue to build out that library basically all the time so that there are plenty of those in there for you to access at any time when you've got questions on how to use materials. So just to wrap this up, on the Home tab of Marketing Assets, you will see our recently uploaded materials, our recommended materials, and then you can see what's most downloaded. So what are people using most often? So that is about it for the Marketing Assets module, but that is where you'll be finding most of your training materials, at least initially. The next module that we will review is the Ad Builder module. So this is the workspace that enables you to customize artwork based on your specific location or business information. So what you'll be able to do in Ad Builder is build out pre-designed and pre-approved materials with your specific address. So the easy one to show you would be the business card. So we've got the business card uploaded in the Ad Builder module. So if you hire a new trainer or you run out of business cards, you can go to the Ad Builder module. Scroll down to the business card that you would like to customize. So we will pick an FR card. And in here, basically, it just has fields that you can type in and make those updates to the card in real time. And then the system will allow you to either email this artwork to yourself or your printer or wherever that needs to go, or you can download and take that to a printer yourself. So right now we've got the letterhead and business cards and gift certificates in there, and that's another module that will continue to build the resources, but it just makes it super easy and really cost effective. You don't have to pay a designer to make the changes for you or rely on someone getting back to you. Super simple and super fast. So that is a great addition to the RCC. So not a lot to talk about there, but let's see. But it does allow you to leverage professionally designed pieces with quick turnaround, and you can download or email all of your artwork. So pretty self-explanatory there, but that takes care of the Ad Builder. The next module that we will discuss is the Reporting and Analytics module. This is another one that kind of speaks for itself, and you can access it through a couple of different ways, from the home page or also from within the Campaign Center. But the Reporting and Analytics module comes with a lot of reports already created in there for you. It also has the ability to create custom reports. So some of the cool ones that I like are email status report. So you can click on this report and it will tell you the status you can see if your emails are getting read. And this not only does this for campaigns that you send, which campaigns can show you how they're read in a couple of different places, but you have the ability to email contacts direct from their contact record. So if you want to email someone and tell them that they need to update their credit card on file or anything like that, you have the ability to check this report and see if they have read an email. So that's a really neat function. But you've got the ability to look at birthdays as they pertain to contacts in your system. There's a pretty robust lead pipeline that you can use, and you can see at what point in your pipeline your leads are at. You've got the ability to log contact history with your contacts through calls, emails, different remarks, so you can pull that history as well. You can see who's unsubscribing from your campaigns. So there's a lot that you can do, but you can also create custom reports. So we created a referred by report. This will show you any contacts that are being added into your system and who referred them. So if you give referral rewards, that's a really good way to monitor and report on that so that you can reward your members or clients appropriately. Some of these next modules that we'll review are the more robust modules within the system. The contact and list management is basically the driver behind the RCC. So this is where you will manage all of your contacts and clients. The client data automatically syncs with MindBody. So when you log in, if you notice that you already had contacts in your system, that is because your contacts that are in MindBody automatically synced over into the RCC. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth, but if you're using another management or marketing tool like Constant Contact or MailChimp, you can export your contacts from there and upload those into the RCC. And this really allows you to get all of your contacts in one place so that you can communicate with them appropriately and with direct and specific messaging. So you can also classify your contacts through different statuses and classifications that will help you manage where they are in your pipeline and how you need to communicate with them. And then once again, your contact or your CRM within the RCC integrates with your email marketing so that you can talk to your contacts as well as your clients. This is one thing that I wanted to be sure that I mentioned in this presentation, but it's also mentioned in the training, and then it's also within the contact manager. We've identified ways to show you this. So basically what we want to illustrate here is that your clients will continue to exist in MindBody. This is where you will run transactions on them. So you know, I know a lot of you have worked up with Decorius on getting your MindBody categories set up, but you will continue to sell your packages and sessions through MindBody. And then over in the RCC section, this is where the rest of your contacts will live. So clients and contacts will live in the RCC, and clients only will live in MindBody. This just helps keep your MindBody cleaner and more focused on your transactional data, and the RCC can be more focused on how you send your messaging to those people. So our recommendation is that from now on, you add all of your new contacts or leads into the RCC. When you do that, you have the ability to select a contact type for that person that you're adding. And so we have identified 4 contact types, and these are marked in the RCC with an asterisk. But if you assign FEO, AR member, client, or FR member as a contact type for a contact, their information will then get sent to MindBody. And that is because these are the people that you would need to be running transactional data on, so they would need to exist in MindBody. So once they're in MindBody, their transaction and visit history will sync back and forth between MindBody and the RCC. So when you have your other contacts in the RCC, your leads and your prospects or your subscribers or former clients, once you change their contact type to one of these, then they will sync over into MindBody so that you can run that transactional data on them. So that's something that, as I said, these 4 are marked with an asterisk in the contact type, but that's important for you to know. If you're looking for someone and you can't find them in MindBody, you may want to check, maybe their contact type didn't get switched. And one of the reasons that we recommend adding contacts into the RCC first is because there are so many more identifiers in the RCC than there are in MindBody. So you really have the ability to classify them how you would like so that you can send specific messaging to them. So I'll jump over here and kind of show you what that looks like. But this is the Contact Manager module. So this is where if you've logged in, you can see that your system is linked with your MindBody and you'll see all of your contacts in here. What we would advise you to do is go through your contacts, and you can see that Decorus in our system is marked as a lead. If you click on him and he came in today, he was a lead, but he just signed up for an FEO, you would change his contact type to FEO. You might change his status to FEO in progress. And if you have a campaign that is triggered by this status, when you switch that, it would automatically launch a campaign about your FEO that you associated with that status to him. So you could change him to that and select Save. And then Decorus's information would go over into MindBody so that you could run a transaction onto him. You'll see that you also have the ability here to add a call. So if you've got an admin or if you ask your coaches or trainers to call their clients, they can log all of that contact history right here with the contact record so that the next time you pull up Decorus, you will see that he had a phone call from your trainer Joe on Thursday reminding him of his success session, that he needs to come in and get all of his measurements done. So you'll see that you can add log a call. You can add remarks. So if your trainer says, Joe missed his session on 3/4 because he hurt his back at work, you can put that in there. And it's a good way to keep everyone on the same page. That way when you pull up Decorus next time, you'll see all the interaction that you as well as your staff have had with him. You can also send emails directly from the contact record. So if you've got templates in here, which we have a lot of templates, we'll get to those, but you can create like thank you for coming in for your success session. So you can send your contact emails directly. So I'll show you what that looks like. So say I'm Decorus' trainer and I just say, hey Decorus, you left your jacket here. You can send that email. I'll send that from my logged in user ID. And now you'll see that that activity history is now logged so that the next time you come in here, you can see, all you do is click it, and you can see what that email said. So not only do you have contact history, but you can see how your admin or staff are communicating with your clients. You can also upload documents with a contact record. So if you've got your agreements or measurement sheets or any other documents that are associated with contacts, you just choose the file, give it a title, save it, and you can save all kinds of documents in there directly with a contact record. Transactions. Phil does not have a MindBody account, so we don't have it linked with anything, but this is where you would see your transaction summary. All of that is synced with MindBody. And you can also add measurements to the profile as well. So Contact Manager, there is a ton that you can do there, a lot of information that you can get on your contacts, and a lot of ways that you can, as I keep saying, see how they're moving through the pipeline. So you'll see that since I just changed Aquarius, I now have one contact that's an FEO in progress. So anytime you see a number underlined in our system, it is a hyperlink. So you would just click on that to see who that FEO in progress is. You can see that's Aquarius. So what we would recommend, and we've been through this with the past couple of groups that have enrolled, since there are not these same identifiers in MindBody, there's really no way to have MindBody tell the RCC what you want these types to be. So that's another reason we recommend that you always add your contacts through the RCC so that you can identify them properly when you're adding them. But for the people who have synced over from the from MindBody, you will need to go ahead and modify their contacts so that you've got them labeled as the correct contact type, because that's how you're going to be able to filter them to market to them. So I can show you. You can what's called mass assign those contact types. So if I want to change all 4 of these people at one time, if I want to change their contact type, I would just come down here, select change contact type, and I would be able to choose from our menu. You can also change their status. You can also send those 4 people an email or add them to a group. Again, that's pretty detailed, and all of that is covered in the Contact Manager training video, but I did want to touch base on all of that just so that you all could see basically how robust this Contact Manager is and how using those types and statuses are really going to allow you to communicate with focused messages, which is just really good for not only lead conversion and marketing, but good for relationships with your existing clients as well. So show you real quick the Campaign Center, and this is the one that we've already broken up the training video into much smaller bite-sized pieces, but this is basically where you can email all of your clients, do your campaigns, your newsletters. Over here on the right, you'll be able to see your campaign dashboard. We have reporting. The terminology within the RCC is templates are your individual emails, and then you combine those templates into either a regular or promotional campaign to send to your contacts. So this is where all of those individual emails live. Triggers are basically the statuses. So when you change a status, what email that triggers to what campaign. This is great for autoresponders or drip campaigns. And then we also have the sign-up form builder, and that allows you to build forms so that you can get opt-ins from your emails or your website or landing pages. So that's where you build the forms. The great thing about the form builder within the RCC is you can tell this form when somebody fills out this form that you created. So you make this form on here that you want their first name, last name, and email. You would just select the fields that you want, and then you can say this is the name of the form, and this is what classifications I want it to assign to the person that fills out that form. So if this is for a basically just an informational email, you may want to say I want that person to be a subscriber. The status would be subscriber also. They came in through your website. How did they hear about you? And then you could tell it what campaign. So it will automatically launch an email to them based on what form that is, where it was, and what it was for. So all of that integrates all of that information seamlessly. So that's pretty neat there as well. Okay, I'm going to move on to the social media. So within the Social Media Manager, you can manage your Facebook page and your Twitter handle. You can easily publish posts, images, videos. We also have what's called the recommendation engine, which is kind of a news feed that will provide content. So if you know that you want to post something but you're not exactly sure what the content should be, we've got that. And it looks like my Facebook. I need to relink it. But that's, if you haven't made us an admin on your page, that's what page you would get when you logged in. Okay, there we go. So the recommendation engine, this just is basically a feed that you can repost. We've put in some keywords as well as some websites that we would want to pull their feed. Publisher, this is where you can publish or schedule posts. So you can view your scheduled or published posts over here. So if you signed up for corporate to be able to post on your behalf, this is where you would see what we have scheduled. You would go to Publisher, Scheduled, and you'll see all the posts and when it will be posting to your page. So once you see that, you can either delete or edit those as well. You've got reporting, so who you're reaching daily, new likes. That's all pretty similar to some of the Facebook analytics. And of course, our Phil Fitness, his Facebook page doesn't get a whole lot of action, so it's not a good real-time indicator of what that looks like. But you can also configure tabs through the social media module. So you can create these tabs, and they will show up as a tab on your Facebook page. And then if you've got a contact us or a free gift, when someone fills out this form, their information automatically goes into your contact manager module also. So that's just another way that that is configured, and I can show you on Phil's page. So these are, when you configure tabs on your page, this is where they show up. So the Contact Us tab. So when you publish it, this is what it looks like. And you've got the option of FR or AR or the dual branded based on your branding. And you would just edit this page, and then you would get that contact into your system. So that brings us to the two final modules that I will touch on briefly. Landing pages, actually, we just launched this last week, and we are recording and we'll be providing the training module webinar on that tomorrow afternoon. So after tomorrow afternoon, you will be able to find that within the Marketing Assets RCC Training Materials folder. But basically, this module allows you to create squeeze pages from the RCC. Also includes forms, which are customizable, that you can track your leads who opt in through your landing pages. So you can create pages for your FEOs, for the blueprints that you're running, and it's basically just like everything else within the RCC, really simple to use. So I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. So basically what you would do would be to create a new landing page. That takes you to the different templates that we have here for you. So if you want a picture at the top and text underneath, you can choose that. If you want text at the top, picture underneath, you can choose that. Or if you want more of a before and after, you can choose that. You also have the ability to upload HTML in these. So if you want to add your own HTML within there, so you just customize this, and again, you'll have the option to tell this form what attributes you want to assign to the contact who comes through there. You can upload a different logo here. These are all WYSIWYG editors, so what you see is what you get. You can change this from email newsletter to nutrition workshop or, whatever it is that you're offering. You can link these at the bottom to different pages on your website. So these are fully customizable, super simple. You would click next, and then it tells you, the URL, your page, and then this is where you select the attributes that you want to assign, whether they get a confirmation message or if you want to redirect them somewhere else. This is where you would identify all of that. So basically in, less than 5 minutes, you can create a landing page or, what we've typically called squeeze pages from within the RCC as well. And finally, we'll discuss the local websites. And this is probably the module that we'll have the most questions on, but you can create a website through the RCC using our pre-designed template. And the website module also has the WYSIWYG editor. So completely customizable at any time by you. If you want to change content or add pages, you can do that. And then these sites, and I'll show you what they look like, but we're in the process and about to launch our new corporate site. So these sites have been designed to match our new corporate site as well. So you'll be able to capitalize on that branding effort that we have and give you a consistent and professional look that's super easy to maintain. So if I go to manage my website, you can change the theme based on your branding. So you'll have the choice of AR template, FR template, or the dual template. So when you select that, it applies those changes. And like I said, this is a WYSIWYG editor. So basically, if you want to change this photo, you just hover over it. Copy, you just hover over it. Click, it will bring you to one of these rich text editors. You can change all of your copy there. At the same time, you can add HTML. This is like the structure of your page, so you can add new pages under any of these tabs. So if you want to talk about your programs, you can just add that page there. Oops. So then you'll see you've got the ability to turn this on and off. So you can create a page one time for an FEO that you run and simply come in here and turn it on or off as it's appropriate with your schedule. If you don't want to offer like a free gift or your Get Started page, you can unselect those and they will remove them from the navigation. You can configure your social media through here, which are displayed on each page. You can add your location information down here. You can also add your analytics if you've got that code, and then you can preview your site before you submit it for approval. And when you submit it for approval, we just get that to make sure that basically links work, typos are fixed, things like that. So it's less of a approval process and more of just a final editing, making sure that what you're putting out there is representative of the brand. So that's local websites. We also have the training module posted in Marketing Assets on that. And it tells you more about how to get started doing this and what your URL will be, or if you want to redirect your URL. So a lot of that is covered within that training module video. So with that, I know that was kind of a very high level and quick overview of everything, but wanted to make sure that we introduced it to you as well as where you can go in order to find training materials and get started. So with that being said, I will open it up. You can use the chat feature or raise your hand. Let me know if you've got any questions, and we will get those answered for you. One question I just got was, if they're currently using SPF, which I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, will the RCC replace that for newsletters? I'm guessing that SPF is a content provider, and currently the RCC does not provide newsletter content, just a way to send it. Okay, Super Trainer Formula. Yes, currently it is not a content providing newsletter solution. So that is something that we have discussed, and it may become that in the future, but it is not right now. Another thing that I didn't mention, but I do want to, Pat wrote website copy for AR, FR, or dual branded franchise partners. So this website copy, you can download it and customize it, and he created it with the site structure of the local websites in mind. So it follows that structure, and you can customize that for your facility. So as an RCC user, that's also available to you to start to build out your website copy. So another question is, will it do autoresponders? And the answer to that is yes. You can set up drip campaigns based on those statuses that I mentioned. So you can create, and we have some uploaded actually from some blueprints, but you create those as you edit the templates, or in your case, if you would want to add your own autoresponder, you would create the email templates. Then you would create a regular campaign out of those templates, and then you can trigger that by a status change. So if you've got people moving through your pipeline or coming in through some forms or your landing pages, you can associate that contact with a campaign that you've scheduled to come out over a specific sequence, and that will start once that person's status is changed to what you have associated with that campaign. If there are no other questions, then we'll just move on to what the next steps need to be. So the first thing that you need to do is go to Marketing Assets and download the RCC User Manual, and that is going to be in the RCC Training Materials, in the Franchise Partner Training Materials in this bottom document. So that would be my first recommendation, is to download that. And then after you have done that and reviewed it, it will kind of walk you through some of the steps within the system. But the next two modules that I would focus your attention on would be the Contact Manager training, and there are two parts to that. Contact Manager training Part 1 and then Part 2, and then the Campaign Center training. So those are the two modules that I would focus on. They've got the most capacity and capability and take the most to get configured to start using the RCC. So in a couple of weeks, we will hold a follow-up RCC Q&A webinar so that we can reconvene and get any questions answered. But in the meantime, feel free to reach out to Decorrius or myself, and we will be happy to do individual webinar or phone call to answer any questions or via email that you have. So if there are no other questions, that concludes our webinar for today. So thank you all very much for joining.